Jeb Gerald, what the hell happened to you?
Attacked.
Attacked?
I got attacked.
Oh shit. We'll find out.
Strip Club Video with Danny Myers, Dane Hansen, and Jeb Gerald starts now.
Jeb, I heard that you got attacked by somebody else in the industry. Is that true?
That is true. I got verbally attacked by,
Oh, okay.
by,
Verbally attacked.
by someone who asked and actually a great question. Uh, why is everyone obsessed with what DJs make and DJ money?
Okay, this is probably in like a follow up to the show that we did. A couple of shows we've done about DJ money, and it's not what it used to be. And what can we do to get the money back up? So what are they saying? Are they saying that we're too self centered on the DJs?
Well, it was a good question, and I kind of wondered myself. First off, we're obviously DJs, so we're going to be obsessed with what we fucking do.
Yeah.
That's kind of the base of it. But it does seem like our industry is always very attention focused on DJs, period. And I guess that's because you become the life of the party and kind of the figurehead and a little bit of a mascot in clubs. So the attention's definitely on us, and of course, we're more flamboyant with ours than most people that are paid in the clubs. So it kind of causes a little bit of the attention. But they had a good point. There's lots of people that make money in the club. None of us would be there if we weren't making money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely entertainers. They really focus on what they make, and then they communicate it amongst themselves. Managers try to make it like it's some super secret, like no one can know what I make. Shh, don't let anyone know. But yeah, everyone in this industry is making enough money that they want to stay in the industry.
Mm-hmm. So I guess this is kind of a follow up because, like I say, we did a couple of shows on the fact that DJs are not making the money they used to make back in the 90s and the OOs and things like that. And we probably bring it up, as you say, because we're DJs. So let's look at it from the entertainer standpoint. Do you think entertainers are making less in 2021 than they were? Because we that was the point. DJs are making less now than they were way back when. Do you think entertainers are making less now than back then?
It's a hard question because the amount that the dollar buys has changed so dramatically from then. So I try to put it in some sort of perspective. Say an entertainer back in the 90s made $350 in one night, which now would be a really bad night. But her rent was $350 for the entire month of her apartment. Versus now rent's going to be $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. And I've seen entertainers make their rent in one night. So I don't know if the money's really changed. I do know back then it was, a $10 dance versus now 20, 30, 50, $100 dance per song. There weren't champagne rooms per se back then where you could buy in bulk. It was very nickel and dimed. So I would think they're making more money now. I really would.
Yeah.
What do you think, Danny?
Well, we're DJs. So, and nobody really wants to admit what they make because we all try to make it seem like we're making less than we are really making so we can make more, if that makes sense. I mean, entertainers, and believe me, I'm not knocking them. I would do the same thing if I was an entertainer. I would not admit to the DJ how much money I made on a really good night. And I say this for the people outside the industry because we get tipped by the entertainer. There was a time that it was a percentage of what they made. That's pretty much gone by the wayside for most of us. But entertainers, if they're going to keep that quiet. I don't tell my entertainers what I make. If I have a really good night, I'm not going to tell them. So, so I would say that in my own opinion, back in the 90s, when I first started in the industry, you're right. We had $10 table dances and that was it. And if you could get really lucky and do 10 dances in a row, you just made $100, and that was a pretty exciting thing back then. Right now, I see girls, if they danced for 10 songs in a row, they would want to expect to make more than $100. So yeah, the cost of living thing does play into it, but I think entertainers are making, even with the cost of living, I think majority of them are making a lot more than they were back in the 90s. And I'm not knocking them for that. I don't want it to seem like I'm stripper bashing, because I'm absolutely not. Because the more money they make, the more money I can make.
Oh yeah, that's in no way is it negative. The way I look at it, I want everyone in the entire building to make more money, because
Right.
it means I'm making more money.
Hmm.
The object of the game is to increase everyone's line, and that's I could see how they've made more money, and it's changed. The game has changed a lot. My question is, are the managers making more money? Has that line changed? Like I can't. I remember my managers from the 90s and the early 2000s, but I cannot for the life of me picture their financial line and how they lived in my mind. I guess I've blocked that from it. But I do know in the last 10 years, I've seen managers making less than a fast food restaurant down the street's manager. And I've seen managers making money I want to make.
Hmm.
So, there's the whole spectrum there. But I think overall, if the managers are making now what they were making in the 90s, I think it'd be a different game. I really don't think they're making as much anymore.
Yeah, I really don't have an answer for that, because first of all, I have never been in management in a strip club, and I never intend to ever do it. Most of the managers I talk to, they don't tell me what they make. I don't ask. I will say that I think, the previous club, or the previous major club that I worked at, which would have been the Harem, which was about 8 years. I was there from 2009 to 17 or 18. The managers, they were on a commission where they got so much, they got a cut of the door, the paid door admission, they got a cut of the shot sales, the tutor sales, whatever, and things like that. So they didn't really make a whole lot as a salary, but they made additional bonuses. I don't know if that's the standard or not. You know more managers than I do.
It really depends. Some owner operators have it broken up that way for their managers. Some are completely corporate structured where it's not that way at all, and it's just a straight salary base with a bonus incentive. The whole spectrum is out there, and the money does depend on the club and depend on the operator. It depends on the manager's skill. I
Mhm.
definitely this is I'm going to take a little heat for this, but I personally think overall, just like a lot of people complain about the quality of the DJ, I think the quality of the manager has dropped a bit
Oh yeah.
nationwide, industry wide, where I'm not quite sure if it was the crazy lawsuits that happened or what structurally changed in the business. I know that with the entertainer classification caused a bit of issue, but as the DJ kind of got thrown by the wayside, the pay for the manager's skill level, it did the same sort of thing. And I have definitely seen a lot more entry level managers in our business running major facilities at a higher rank than I've ever seen before.
Hmm.
So our talent pool has definitely gotten a little strained nationwide as far as managers, and same thing with kind of DJs too. There's lots of top tier positions that could be filled, but not a lot of qualified people to fill those spots necessarily. Lower end, there's a lot of openings and
Hmm.
lots of
Yeah.
change, revolving door.
Yeah, I think, gosh, I'm going to do this again in a couple weeks in a row. I'm going to say something nice about Drayton Nay. I'm going to take you back to Drayton Nay's day, when he was, because I like the guy, but he's kind of a, I'm not even going to say. But anyway, when Drayton was doing his consulting online and things, he was always big about the managers have to have sales training. Your floor staff has to have sales training, because otherwise you are leaving the entire profit, the entire income up to your 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old entertainers to make the money. And you really need to train your staff. And that's something that I don't see much of anymore. And that is staff sales training or manager sales training. Maybe it happens in the corporate world. I don't know, but I don't see a big push to get the staff to help the entertainers make money like I used to.
I think a lot of that has to do with the revolving door of our employment situation. No one stays very long in our industry anymore. They not in one spot anyway. They seem to move quickly. Like if you come across a facility that has a manager for over a decade and the same bartender for more than 3 years, that's where you want to work.
Yeah.
No one's going anywhere. But most of the cases, the manager's been there 6 months. The bartender got hired 2 weeks ago. So, when you have that much turnover, that it's just not even time to train anybody.
So can I throw one more question in at you?
Go
What
for
do you
it.
think about owners' income over the years? Do you think the owners are making more profit nowadays than they used to? And I obviously no owner is ever going to tell their DJ how much money they make.
Yeah, okay, so
But
this is
what's
going to
your
be a
gut
complete.
feeling?
It's going to be a complete guess because I have no reference point, but I would say it's probably the same.
Yeah.
The players that be have been working their way up to those spots for a whole minute. That after Michael J. Peters kind of slowed down thanks to a little government hammer hit, the game kind of changed and the industry has changed as they pushed out a lot of the, let's say, white envelope run facilities have sort of disappeared. The mob isn't as involved anymore in a lot of them. The corporate world has taken over, but I'd say it's probably still about the same. And, it's definitely better than running a restaurant, that's for sure. But
Yeah, my guess would be when it comes to the owners, like I say, we don't see their money. They're not going to tell us. But I would think that overall, with the COVID shutdowns and the lockdowns, the owners took a bigger hit than any of us did.
Without a doubt,
Percentage wise, especially. I mean, you and I, if we're out of work for a couple of months, we can pick up a job at Amazon. How many owners? I mean, you've got rent to pay. And if you don't have rent, if you own the building, you've still, your property taxes are still there. Your electric bill's still there. It might be lower.
Add to that they didn't get to qualify for hardly any assistance from the government because they're sexually oriented business. And there's some yeah,
I had to learn what that word was.
ridiculous biasness there on who received the help. So they definitely, without a doubt, they took the biggest hit out of anyone. And the simple fact that they were able to survive that gives me hope that it's a great industry to be in, and there's still, a lot of growth to do in it. But they had to have. I know what my operator when I was working in Colorado was suffering through, and they took the biggest hit trying to take care of their own people.
Mm-hmm.
And they were taking money out of their own pocket, trying to make sure people made it through day to day. And that was a huge sacrifice that I don't see. Restaurants would just shut down and never reopen again rather than help their staff out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys went through huge amounts of shutdown with absolutely no income coming in and everything going out the door, and they kept it going. So kudos to them. But overall, I think it's a good place. I want to own an adult entertainment facility at one point.
Do you really?
Yeah, why not? I think Panda would make a great brand for titty bars.
Yeah, I have zero desire to ever own or manage. I am content being a DJ. I'm happy where I'm at. But a lot of people they do want to move up. I'm content where I'm at. I'm looking at retirement and everything else. So, yeah, the days of but you would actually want to own a strip club, huh?
Oh, why not?
Okay, what would be some of the first things you would do that are different from what clubs are doing now, or would you still run them basically the same?
It'd be pretty similar. The difference would be the staffing. I really truly believe that the investment into your staff is the investment into your wallet. And that's one thing I've learned from being on the inside is, if you can, the better your staff is and the better your facility works together and you retain your employees, I think the better the club runs. Mm-hmm. I love clubs that run like a machine, and no matter what happens throughout the entire night, it keeps plugging right along and making money. I would love to have a facility that had free hand to tweak everything.
Yeah, so you would basically pay your DJs more, is what you're saying. You see how this all just kind of went right back around to where we started.
They would definitely make a good living, but my God, could you imagine working for me? The expectations of what you have to perform every night. Oh, I feel sorry to work. I wouldn't want to work for me.
Yeah. Do the DJs have to have a puke voice to work for you?
Well, it depends. If they could get the crowd excited and involved, and my maybe not paying attention, intoxicated entertainer in the corner hear her name, I don't care what voice you use.
Okay.
But, the puke nowadays is really just the theatrical side of it. There's two schools of thought. Some of us all sound the same, high puke voicers, and then there's other ones where they sound like they're just talking to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One.
So that wraps this part of it up, but I have another question for people who don't know. Jeb, this is Jeb Gerald, by the way. I didn't even introduce you. This is Jeb Gerald.
We went right through it this time.
I'm Danny Myers, and we do the show called Strip Club Video, and I just completely didn't even say anything about that in the beginning because we really wanted to get into this conversation. So Jeb is the president of Panda, and Panda is the Professional Adult Nightclub DJ Association. You've been in Panda for many, many years. I've been in Panda for many, many years. Panda has a big milestone coming up. So what talk about the milestone and talk about what we can do to help celebrate it.
Well, next year will be Panda's 10-year anniversary. And hard to believe a decade has gone by already. Kind of grew up with Facebook, this entire group did, but we definitely want to celebrate it in some way, do a big Pandemonium, at least a 2-day event. There has been discussions on what month to do it, where to do it, what location, which days to do it on. And those are the kind of things that we need to start having the conversation on. I'd like to get as many pandas involved in this as possible. I think our biggest Pandemonium was in Austin. For as far as turnout, I'd like to double that. Honestly. So when people have ideas or any kind of disagreement on something that we're going forward on, I'd like to be able to hear about it. The more information and more input that we have into this, the better we can make it for everybody. I kind of lean towards May. We've done most of our Pandemoniums in May. I know it's a busy month. There may be other events like the EDIs that may be rolling around that month. I'm not quite sure. There's been conversations on doing it Monday, Tuesday, or kind of trying to go over the hump of the 2 shifts between the prime timers and non-prime timers and doing a Tuesday, Wednesday. Daytime events as well as nighttime events. It'd also be a great time to do the Panda feature contest, which is definitely going to be in the works for next year. Kind of like to integrate that if possible. So that means we probably want to be some distance away from the EDIs. We worked on locations. There's lots of places we could do it in, lots of hubs that we could go to. I'm not quite sure we would get as much generosity necessarily from anyone else as we would from my amazing operator owner, Jerry Westland. I'm sure would be more than happy to help Pandas all make it to Huntsville and have a couple of days here. And we do have 4 clubs that we can kind of play along in. And Huntsville's cheap. Cost of hotels, transportation, and even flights into Huntsville are usually lower than they are just about anywhere else in a major city. So all those kind of things. It's driving distance from Danny even. So
it takes me 6.5 hours to get there if I don't have a bunch of wrecks on the way. Not me personally, but have to drive through them. Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. We talked a lot about Panda and Pandemonium. Panda started in 2012. I think I joined in 13. You were right after me.
Right.
And so Pandemonium, a lot of people are listening and going, I have no clue what a Pandemonium is, because the last Pandemonium we did was down in Miami maybe 4 years ago. 3, 4?
It was the summer before COVID.
Okay.
So 2019 May.
So it's been a little bit. So to the people who don't know what a Pandemonium is, we have done them in Miami. Well, we did it at Miami. It was mostly through Tootsie's. We had some workshops during the day, and then Tootsie's got us some deals and things at night where we all got to go together and party. Now, we also did one in Austin, Texas, which was absolutely amazing because we did scavenger hunts down there on what's the big party street? Was it 6th or 12th? 6th Street.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. We had time classes.
Indoor Formula One racing.
Yeah, we did that and things like that. So really what a Pandemonium is a chance for us all to get together, but it's not just one big panda party. It's educational. It's kind of, oh, come on.
The first Pandemonium, he didn't even talk about the first Pandemonium was in Atlanta.
I was going to get to that. Yeah, that was in Atlanta, and that was there was nothing educational about that one right there.
The first one was not educational.
Except for reasons why you shouldn't try to do as many shots as you possibly can and keep up with drinking with Ron Sparkman when he was an alcoholic.
That and the late great Glenn Miller having to be taken out the side door of Cheetahs so no one saw how messed up he was.
Yeah, and I think Dane got pretty messed up. I might even still have an audio recording of Dane when I tried to interview him when he was drunker than shit. I need to try to dig that one up. But okay, so that was the first one. We learned a lot from
We
that.
learned a lot from it.
We learned a
Not
lot from
necessarily
that.
had it.
Yeah, we had other things planned. It's just we all got way too freaking drunk at what was it, the Pink Pony, which is no relation to the pony.
No.
But boy, did we spend a lot of money that night. And then the following night over at Cheetah with Tim Rhodes Club. But I think we were all too hungover to get drunk that night. So, yeah, a little Panda history lesson for those of you newer or those of you who don't know anything about Panda. So what we want to do is, as Jeb was saying, is we want to find a location, which, I think your area, Huntsville, would be cool because you've got 4 clubs in Huntsville, all strip clubs. And plus, they're not too far from each other. Ubers are reasonable over there. And you've got Jerry Westland as an owner who would probably, help us out and throw some cash and help us promote it and things like that. It's also kind of centrally located. Another thing that we look for are cities that have hubs that's easier to fly into, like your Atlantas, your Dallases, your Lauderdales, Denver has a good hub out there. So those are all the different things that we look for. So what we want right now is we want Panda input. First of all, do you think you can go? If you think you can go, what days work better for you? If we did it over a Monday, Tuesday, would that be better than a Tuesday, Wednesday, or would you like 3-day events? Huntsville, I think, is kind of cool because it's centrally located and a lot of people can drive there. It's within 6 hours of a lot of major areas where there's a lot of DJs. So I don't know, what are the questions that you would like to ask the Pandas that I didn't already?
It's a 2-hour flight from just about anywhere too. If you're coming from Dallas, it's about a 2-hour flight. If you're coming from Miami, it's just about a 2-hour flight. If you're coming from New York, it's about 3.5. So, the very far West Coasters, I'm sorry, like Seattle, LA, those are really long flights and a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's pretty centrally located. What was your question, Eddie?
I said, what other questions would you like to ask the Panda members about what they'd like to see? I mean, what kind of educational panels could we put together?
What would they like to know? What would they like to learn more about? What kind of activities they would like to do? They're, and as well as, what level of hotel are you willing to stay at? The best way, honestly, on any of these things is kind of do it like they do at Expo, where we try to keep everybody in the same location and move everybody as a group. It kind of makes things just easier than having, the first Pandemonium we learned real quick. If you let everybody do their own transportation, nobody fucking shows up at the same time. It's impossible to get anything fucking done that way. So we keeping the group together and staying together in a hotel always lets us, get a cheaper rate. So how much they're willing to spend on that as well. And we'd like to do it at least, 3-4 months away from Expo, so people have time to regenerate their spending revenue and enjoy both of the things the same year.
I just had a flashback of the Atlanta, and I don't know what made me think of this, but do you remember going to the bar that had a karaoke band?
Yes. That was our 80s night that Tim actually set that up with the other DJ. My brain's going dead there. Thank you, marijuana. Can't remember his name. But both of them kind of set that up there, and we had a full-on 80s karaoke party night. I'll never forget the leather outfit that Tim Rhodes was wearing. I think there was a weird DJ photo session in a photo booth with a lot of DJs all crammed into one photo booth. I kind of remember that one. Who was it that I'm trying to remember who our best Willard, of course,
Willard
was
Barth?
probably our best performer that night.
Yeah. Fry was up there. Fry had some good showmanship because Fry had his jean jacket, his Pantera jean jacket, and his major mohawk back then.
Yes.
We had
bring it back.
Yeah. So anyway, these are some of the things that we've done in the past, and we want to know from all of you, what would you like to see us do at the next Pandemonium? Put those comments wherever you're watching the show, because we post this show, on many places on Facebook and on YouTube and places like that. Drop your comments anywhere, or just drop them in. If you're a panda, drop them in the Facebook group, the Panda Facebook group, and that's what we want to know, man. Where can we do this? Because we're gonna have some fun. I know it already. Um, I think personally, I lean toward Huntsville. But I just, because I know how Jerry will take care of us, and you got 4 good clubs. You've got Pony Bama, which is your club where you DJ. We've got the Pony 2 TOO, which is where Dane Hansen is the general manager. We've got Scores out there, which are they going to keep that name Scores? Or are they ever going to make that a pony, or do you know?
That's where it's at for now. But Ryan McDermott Jr. is there now.
Oh,
yes,
baby Ryan.
Yes, and then Bobby is working with me at Pony 2 and at Scores. He's getting to cover both clubs. And then we have Uncle Bucks.
Now, get the whole name of Uncle Bucks.
Uncle Bucks Booby Bungalow.
Uncle
And
Bucks Booby Bungalow.
They have a new manager.
Yeah, I did see that. Congratulations going out to their new manager, who is
Lacey Rain.
Yeah, Lacey Rain.
Yes.
Woo!
And I am super excited. I think she is going to blow the doors off of that. I can't imagine a better person and a better personality to do that. I'm super excited to see what happens.
I want to know if Lacey's going to start dressing in country western gear, like with the pigtails and the Daisy Dukes. And
why not? God, there's nothing sexier down here than a hot country girl, I promise you.
I mean, it's Uncle Buck's Club. You guys did the best mullet contest.
and they just had what was it? Fruit and Jello wrestling.
Yeah.
They've had biscuits and gravy wrestling. And I heard through the grapevine, the next one's actually spaghetti and meatball wrestling.
No shit.
Yeah. Uncle Buck's Booby Bungalow gets a little wild and crazy.
I can see your tagline now. Hey guys, would you like to put your noodle between her legs? Come on. I'm going to tell you that one.
My brain went more of the On Top of Old Smoky remix.
I put my meatballs in that shit. Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely you get such a kick out of the Uncle Bucks. You need to become the promo guy for that club.
I can do that. I got my redneck character, my Daniel T. Crockett the third, with my red. Hold on, do I even have? Hold on, I got the mullet wig. Give me 1 second. It's close.
This is awesome.
Are you ready? Didn't plan this, so give me a second.
It's. I hope the neighbors can see through the windows when you do this kind of stuff.
There's nobody out there right now, but yeah. Okay, hold on.
Watch this character change. As soon as the hair goes on, it happens. Up sideways. There we go. Almost backwards.
There we go.
Let's see.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel T. Crockett III. Now, by the way, I'm going to be running for president of the United States of America in 2020, whatever the next one is, 2024. And I would appreciate your vote.
I just like to point out
that as well without a tank top on, my little wife beater thing, but
I just have to point out the fact that Danny Myers actually doesn't do drugs.
I don't.
He doesn't.
No.
No.
Okay. So DJs need to be paid more. Entertainers need to be paid more. Managers need to be paid more. Owners need to make more money. We need to all contribute to Jeb Gerald's GoFundMe so he can buy a strip club and pay us all more. And we're going to all party together in somewhere. Again, we need your input on this. So, or I should say, we need your input on this. So, yeah. Oh, God, that just baber. I don't know.
You got to hear Danny talk to a Southern girl. It's hysterical.
Oh, shit. Southern goth girl.
Southern goth girl. There it is.
All right. Anything else, Jeb?
No, man. We'll see you next week.
Peace. See you guys. Woo!